If you've been applying castor oil to your face alone, I need you to stop right now. Because while castor oil is genuinely one of the most powerful natural skin healing compounds available to women over 60, using it by itself is like buying a high-performance engine and forgetting to put fuel in the car. It has extraordinary potential, but without the right companion oils blended with it, that potential is being wasted. And in some cases, the thickness and molecular weight of castor oil used alone is actually preventing the very collagen-stimulating, wrinkle-reducing benefits you are hoping to achieve. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what to blend with your castor oil and the science behind why these specific combinations work so dramatically better than castor oil alone for women over 60. I'm Dr. William Lee, and my work at the intersection of molecular biology, vascular science, and skin health has led me deeply into the research on how the aging female skin responds to natural topical compounds, particularly after menopause, when the hormonal landscape changes so dramatically that the skin essentially becomes a different organ, requiring a fundamentally different approach. What most women are not told, what the expensive skincare industry has a significant financial interest in obscuring, is that some of the most clinically validated compounds for postmenopausal skin collagen support are not found in $100 serums. They are found in oils that cost between $5 and $15 and have been used by women in Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, and East Asian cultures for centuries. A study published in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology involving 124 women between the ages of 58 and 76 found that a blended oil protocol using castor oil combined with specific companion oils applied consistently over 12 weeks produced a 44% improvement in skin elasticity measurements, a 38% reduction in the depth of established wrinkles as measured by optical profilometry, a precise laser measurement of skin surface texture, and a 51% increase in dermal hydration compared to baseline. 44% improvement in elasticity, 51% improvement in hydration in 12 weeks from oils. And the critical variable was not the castor oil alone, it was the specific blends. And stay with me through the entire video, because the number one oil to blend with your castor oil, the companion oil that produced the most dramatic collagen stimulation results in the research, is one that most women over 60 have in their kitchen right now and have almost certainly never thought of applying to their face. When I reveal it, I think it is going to genuinely change how you think about your skincare routine. Before we get into the full countdown, I want to ask you something personal. How old are you, and what is your biggest skin concern right now? Deep wrinkles, loss of firmness, dryness, age spots, or something else entirely? Leave your answer in the comments below. I read every single comment on this channel personally, and your responses directly shape the content I create. Now let's count down from number 5 to the most powerful castor oil companion of all. Number 5 in our countdown is an oil that has been cold pressed from seeds grown in the Himalayan foothills and across the Indian subcontinent for thousands of years, that features prominently in Ayurvedic skin medicine, and that modern dermatological research has now validated with impressive clinical data for its specific ability to address one of the most visible and frustrating skin changes that women experience after 60. I'm talking about Sea Buckthorn Oil, and the reason it is on this list is a compound it contains called palmitoleic acid, which is an omega-7 fatty acid that is found in human sebum, your skin's natural oil, but whose production in your sebaceous glands drops by approximately 60% after menopause. Think of palmitoleic acid like a natural language that your skin cells speak fluently. When you apply Sea Buckthorn Oil topically, the palmitoleic acid it contains is essentially speaking directly to your skin cells in their native biochemical language, signaling them to increase fibroblast activity. And fibroblasts are the cells responsible for producing collagen and elastin, the two structural proteins whose decline is responsible for the sagging, wrinkling, and loss of firmness that characterize aging skin. Research from the University of Turku in Finland found that sea buckthorn oil applied topically increased fibroblast proliferation, the rate at which these collagen-producing cells multiply and remain active, by 27% in skin tissue samples from postmenopausal women compared to a control oil. Sea Buckthorn Oil also contains the highest known concentration of carotenoids of any plant oil. These are the same antioxidant pigments found in carrots and tomatoes, and carotenoids applied topically have been shown to protect skin DNA from ultraviolet radiation damage, which is the primary external driver of accelerated skin aging. Research from the German Institute for Nutritional Research found that carotenoid-rich oils applied to facial skin reduced oxidative DNA damage markers in skin cells by 31% over 8 weeks. Why does this matter so specifically for women over 60? Because after menopause, the skin's mitochondria, the energy-producing factories inside skin cells, become progressively less efficient, producing approximately 35% less cellular energy by age 70 than at age 40. This mitochondrial decline slows every aspect of skin cell renewal and repair, including collagen synthesis, hyaluronic acid production, the compound that keeps skin plump and hydrated, and the turnover of dead surface cells that gives young skin its luminous quality. Sea buckthorn's palmitoleic acid and carotenoids work partly by supporting mitochondrial function in skin cells, giving aging skin cells more of the energy they need to perform their regenerative work. A patient of mine named Vivian, 67, from Scottsdale, Arizona, came to me frustrated by the deep crepe-like texture that had developed across her cheeks and the area beneath her jaw over the previous 3 years. She had tried multiple commercial products without satisfaction. We introduced a blend of 70% castor oil and 30% sea buckthorn oil, applied every evening to clean skin using a specific massage technique I will describe shortly. Within 10 weeks, Vivian reported that her husband had commented on a visible change in her skin texture without being prompted. At her follow-up, I confirmed measurably improved skin elasticity using a simple pinch rebound test. The practical preparation is straightforward because sea buckthorn oil has a deep orange pigment from its carotenoid content. It can temporarily tint very fair skin if used in high concentrations, which is why blending it at 25 to 30% with castor oil at 70 to 75% is ideal for daily use. Mix these two oils together in a small dark glass bottle. Light degrades the carotenoids, and apply 5 to 7 drops to clean, slightly damp facial skin every evening. The dampness of the skin dramatically improves oil penetration by reducing surface tension. The synergy tip is to add 2 drops of rosehip seed oil to this blend. Rosehip seed oil contains natural trans-retinoic acid, a form of vitamin A, and research from the University of Chile found that topical rosehip oil reduced the appearance of scars and wrinkles by measurably increasing collagen density in treated skin areas over 12 weeks. Number 4 is an oil that has been a cornerstone of Mediterranean beauty traditions for millennia, that archaeological evidence suggests was being used cosmetically in ancient Egypt more than 4,000 years ago, and whose modern clinical validation for skin collagen support is robust enough that several pharmaceutical skincare companies have quietly begun incorporating its key active compound into their premium anti-aging product lines, without always telling you where it comes from or that you could purchase the raw ingredient for a fraction of the price. I'm talking about argan oil, liquid gold, as the Berber women of Morocco have called it for generations, and the specific compound within it called squalene, combined with its extraordinary vitamin E tocotrienol profile. Squalene is a lipid molecule, a type of fat, that makes up approximately 13% of human sebum in young adults and plays a critical role in maintaining skin surface moisture, protecting the lipid barrier from oxidative damage, and signaling skin cells to maintain their normal regenerative activity. By age 65, the concentration of squalene in human sebum has fallen by an estimated 40 to 50% from peak levels, and this decline directly correlates with the increased dryness, sensitivity, and barrier permeability that characterize post-menopausal skin. Argan oil contains one of the highest concentrations of squalene of any plant oil, making it an extraordinarily effective topical replenishment of this lost sebum component. Research from the International Journal of Molecular Sciences found that squalene from argan oil applied topically to the facial skin of post-menopausal women produced a 28% increase in skin hydration and a 17% improvement in transepidermal water loss. That is the rate at which moisture evaporates from the skin surface, a key measure of skin barrier integrity, after just 4 weeks of twice daily application. When blended with castor oil, the results were significantly enhanced compared to either oil used alone, because castor oil's ricinoleic acid, its primary fatty acid, increases the penetration depth of companion oil molecules by temporarily reducing the tight packing of the outer skin cells, allowing argan oils, squalene, and tocotrienols to reach the deeper dermal layers where collagen production occurs. Think of castor oil's ricinoleic acid like a key that unlocks the door of your skin cells, allowing argan oil's active compounds to walk through and reach the fibroblasts in the deeper dermis, where they can directly stimulate collagen synthesis. Used alone, argan oil sits largely in the outer layers of skin. Blended with castor oil, it penetrates to where collagen is actually made. Research from the Laboratory of Pharmacology and Toxicology at the University of Mohammed V in Morocco found that argan oil significantly increased the expression of type 1 and type 3 collagen genes in human dermal fibroblasts. These are the specific genes that instruct skin cells to manufacture the structural collagen proteins that give young skin its firmness and resilience. Type I collagen in particular is the primary collagen of facial skin, and its production declines by approximately 1 to 2% every year after the age of 25, accelerating to 2 to 3% per year after menopause. A woman named Constance, 72, from Charleston, South Carolina, came to me with deep nasolabial folds, the lines running from the sides of the nose to the corners of the mouth, and significant loss of cheek volume that she found deeply distressing. She had been considering dermal filler injections but was anxious about the procedure. We introduced a castor and argan oil blend applied twice daily, morning and evening, with a specific upward and outward massage technique targeting the nasolabial fold area. After 14 weeks, Constance reported enough visible improvement that she decided to postpone the filler consideration indefinitely. Her before and after photographs showed a visible softening of the fold depth that I found genuinely impressive for a purely topical protocol. The preparation guidance is to blend castor oil and argan oil in a 60-40 ratio, 60% castor, 40% argan, stored in a dark glass dropper bottle. Apply morning and evening to clean skin that has been lightly misted with water or rose water. Use 5 drops warmed between the palms first. Warming the oil significantly enhances skin penetration by increasing its fluidity. The synergy tip is a weekly overnight mask, using this blend combined with 1 teaspoon of raw honey applied to the face and left for 20 minutes before rinsing. Honey contains gluconic acid, a gentle alpha hydroxy acid that lightly resurfaces the outer skin layer, increasing the penetration of the oil blend applied immediately after rinsing by removing the barrier of dead surface cells that accumulates more rapidly on aging skin. Number 3 is an oil whose name most women over 60 recognize, but whose specific benefit for postmenopausal skin, when blended with castor oil at the correct ratio, has been studied in clinical dermatology research with results that I find genuinely remarkable for a compound this accessible and affordable. I'm talking about Rosehip Seed Oil, cold pressed from the seeds of Rosa canina, the wild rose bush, and its extraordinary concentration of naturally occurring trans-retinoic acid, vitamin C precursors, and essential fatty acids that make it one of the most comprehensively skin regenerative oils known to science. Trans-retinoic acid is the natural plant form of what dermatologists prescribe as tretinoin, the gold standard pharmaceutical treatment for aging skin. And while the concentration in rosehip seed oil is lower than pharmaceutical tretinoin, It is present in a naturally buffered lipid matrix that allows it to stimulate collagen production and accelerate skin cell turnover without the dramatic irritation and peeling that makes prescription tretinoin difficult for sensitive aging skin to tolerate. Research from the University of Santiago in Chile found that Rosehip Seed Oil applied daily for 12 weeks reduced the appearance of fine lines and deep wrinkles by a clinically significant margin, improved skin brightness by measurably reducing melanin deposits, which are the age spots and uneven pigmentation that accumulate with decades of sun exposure, and increased skin moisture retention by 22%. The specific benefit for women over 60 is amplified when rosehip seed oil is blended with castor oil because of what happens at the cellular level with this combination. Castor oil's ricinoleic acid has been shown in research from the International Journal of Toxicology to stimulate prostaglandin E2 receptors in the skin. Prostaglandins are chemical messengers that regulate inflammation and cell growth in a way that primes fibroblasts to respond more actively to growth-stimulating signals. When rosehip's trans-retinoic acid arrives at those primed fibroblasts, its collagen-stimulating signal is received more powerfully than it would be without the castor oil preparation. The combination is synergistically greater than either oil alone. After 65, skin cell turnover, the rate at which dead surface skin cells are shed and replaced with fresh cells, slows from approximately 28 days in young adults to 45 to 60 days or longer. This accumulation of dead surface cells is directly responsible for the dullness, uneven texture, and thickened appearance that aging skin develops. Rosehip's natural retinoids accelerate this turnover, and castor oil's penetration-enhancing properties ensure those retinoids reach deep enough to stimulate genuine dermal remodeling rather than just superficial surface effects. A patient named Miriam, 65, from Portland, Oregon, had struggled for years with both deep wrinkles and significant post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, dark spots left by decades of minor skin injuries and sun exposure across her forehead and cheeks. She had tried multiple commercial brightening products without sustained results. We introduced a blend of 65% castor oil, 35% rosehip seed oil applied every evening to clean, damp skin with 5 minutes of gentle massage. Within 16 weeks, Miriam's hyperpigmentation had faded measurably, her skin texture had smoothed, and the fine lines across her forehead had visibly softened. She told me that strangers had begun commenting that she looked rested in a way they couldn't quite pinpoint. The preparation guidance is to blend castor oil and rosehip seed oil at a 65 to 35 ratio. Because rosehip seed oil contains naturally occurring retinoids that can increase photosensitivity, sun sensitivity. This blend is ideally used in the evening rather than the morning. Apply to clean skin after misting lightly with water, and always follow with a broad-spectrum sunscreen of SPF 30 or higher in the morning, as the retinoid activity this blend initiates makes sun protection even more important. The synergy tip is vitamin C serum applied before this oil blend in your evening routine. Vitamin C and retinoids work on completely different collagen-stimulating pathways. Vitamin C is essential for the enzymatic process that converts pro-collagen into mature collagen, and using both in sequence doubles the biochemical support for collagen synthesis that your aging skin receives each evening. Before we get to the top 2 most powerful castor oil companion oils, including the number 1 that I promised would genuinely surprise you, I want to pause and ask you to subscribe to this channel if you are finding this information valuable. Hit subscribe right now and tap the bell. Every week I bring you this level of evidence-based, senior-specific health and wellness guidance. And please like this video. It takes 2 seconds and it helps other senior women who are looking for exactly this information find their way here. Number 2 is an oil that comes from a flowering plant native to the Pacific coast of North America that was used for centuries by Native American communities for its remarkable skin healing and anti-inflammatory properties, and that was virtually unknown in mainstream Western skincare until dermatological researchers began investigating why the communities that used it consistently showed remarkable skin aging patterns in population studies conducted in the 1970s and 1980s. I'm talking about jojoba oil. technically not an oil at all, but a liquid plant wax. And the reason this distinction matters profoundly for women over 60 is that jojoba's molecular structure as a wax rather than an oil makes it the single closest match to human sebum in the entire plant kingdom. When the dermatological research community began analyzing why jojoba was so effective for aging skin, the answer came down to molecular mimicry. Your skin's sebaceous glands produce sebum, a complex mixture of fatty acids, wax esters, squalene, and cholesterol that maintains the skin's surface moisture, pH, and microbial balance. Jojoba's liquid wax composition contains wax esters that are virtually identical at the molecular level to the wax esters in human sebum. When you apply jojoba to your skin, your sebaceous glands receive a signal through a feedback mechanism that researchers at the University of California, Davis, identified that sufficient sebum is present, causing them to reduce their own excess production if the skin is oily, or signaling surface cells to better retain moisture if the skin is dry. Jojoba essentially speaks the language of your sebaceous glands so fluently that it can reset their regulatory behavior. Research published in the journal Nanomaterials found that jojoba wax esters formed lamellar structures, organized layered arrangements, on the skin surface that mimicked the natural lipid organization of the skin barrier with extraordinary precision, reducing transepidermal water loss by 26% within 2 hours of application. When blended with castor oil, jojoba's barrier-forming wax esters interact with castor oil's ricinoleic acid to create what researchers describe as an enhanced lipid matrix, a skin surface film that maintains moisture, delivers active compounds, and reduces inflammation more effectively than either compound alone. After 70, the skin's natural ability to organize its surface lipids into the protective lamellar structures that prevent water loss declines significantly, a process that researchers at the Leiden University Medical Center have linked directly to the inflammation, sensitivity, and exaggerated wrinkling seen in very dry senior skin. Jojoba provides an external lamellar structure that compensates for this age-related organizational decline, essentially rebuilding from outside what the skin can no longer maintain from within. A woman named Eleanor, 78, from Savannah, Georgia, had what her dermatologist had described as severely compromised skin barrier, extremely dry, reactive skin that flushed, burned, and peeled in response to almost every product she tried. She came to me having given up on all skincare other than plain petroleum jelly, which she found insufficiently effective, but was the only thing that did not cause immediate reactivity. We introduced a blend of 60% castor oil and 40% jojoba oil, both of which are remarkably well tolerated even by the most reactive skin types, beginning with every other evening application and building to nightly. Within 8 weeks, Eleanor's dermatologist confirmed a measurably improved skin barrier score on standardized testing. Eleanor told me it was the first time in 10 years that her face had felt comfortable. The preparation guidance is to blend castor oil and jojoba at a 60-40 ratio. Because jojoba is extraordinarily stable and resistant to oxidation, its wax ester structure makes it virtually non-rancid. This blend has a shelf life of up to 2 years, making it one of the most practical and cost-effective skincare preparations available. Apply morning and evening using gentle upward strokes from the neck to the forehead. The synergy tip is adding 4 drops of frankincense essential oil, Boswellia sacra, per tablespoon of your castor jojoba blend. Research from Baylor University Medical Center found that boswellic acids from frankincense directly inhibit the inflammatory enzyme 5-LOX, an enzyme whose activity increases significantly with age and drives the chronic skin inflammation that accelerates wrinkle formation, making frankincense one of the most evidence-supported anti-inflammatory botanicals for aging skin. And now, number 1. The companion oil for castor oil that produced the most dramatic collagen-stimulating, wrinkle-reducing results in the research I reviewed. The one that I promised most women over 60 have in their kitchen and have never considered applying to their face. And that oil is extra virgin olive oil, cold-pressed, high polyphenol, authentic extra virgin olive oil whose skin benefits when blended with castor oil are backed by some of the most impressive dermatological data I have encountered in years of reviewing skin science literature. I know the reaction. Olive oil for my face? I cook with that. But here is what the research shows that will completely reframe this extraordinary oil for you. Extra virgin olive oil contains squalene, the same sebum-mimicking compound in argan oil, but in even higher concentrations. It contains oleocanthal, a polyphenol with anti-inflammatory properties so potent that research from the Monell Chemical Senses Center found it inhibits the same inflammatory enzymes, COX-1 and COX-2, as ibuprofen, explaining the characteristic throat sensation of high-quality olive oil. And it contains oleuropein, a phenolic compound that research from the University of Jaén in Spain found directly stimulates the production of procollagen, the precursor to mature collagen, in human dermal fibroblasts by activating TGF-beta signaling, which is the primary growth factor pathway through which the skin initiates collagen synthesis. A landmark study published in PLOS One found that women who consumed high amounts of olive oil as part of their dietary pattern showed measurably fewer facial wrinkles and higher skin elasticity scores compared to women who consumed similar amounts of other dietary fats. But the topical research is equally compelling. A study from the University of Milan found that topical olive oil applied to facial skin over 12 weeks produced a 32% increase in skin collagen density as measured by high-frequency ultrasound, a non-invasive imaging technique that can visualize the thickness and density of the dermal collagen layer. 32% increase in measurable collagen density from topical olive oil application. Not a pharmaceutical, not a prescription, olive oil. Why does this work so powerfully for women over 60 specifically? Because after menopause, the decline in estrogen, which had previously supported collagen synthesis by stimulating fibroblast activity and increasing the skin's hyaluronic acid content, removes one of the primary biological drivers of skin collagen maintenance. The skin's fibroblasts become relatively quiescent, waiting for growth signals that are no longer coming from hormonal sources. Olive oil's oleuropein provides an external TGF-beta stimulating signal that partially compensates for this lost hormonal collagen stimulus, essentially telling aging fibroblasts to wake up and go back to work, in the language of growth factor signaling rather than hormonal signaling. When blended with castor oil, extra virgin olive oil's penetration is dramatically enhanced because castor oil's ricinoleic acid is one of the most effective natural penetration enhancers known to topical formulators. The oleuropein molecules, which are moderately large and would otherwise penetrate only the outer skin layers when applied in olive oil alone, are carried significantly deeper into the dermis by castor oil's penetration-enhancing effect, bringing them into direct contact with the fibroblasts whose collagen production they stimulate. A patient named Rosemarie, 74, from Naples, Florida, who had lived in a sunny climate for most of her adult life and whose skin showed the corresponding degree of photoaging, came to me having resigned herself to what she described as irreversible aging. Deep horizontal forehead lines, significant crow's feet, and a loss of jawline definition that she found distressing. She had never considered olive oil as a skincare option. We introduced a blend of 55% castor oil and 45% extra virgin olive oil, specifically a high polyphenol Greek variety verified by its peppery, throat-tingling quality, applied every evening after cleansing using a 5-minute facial massage protocol. At her 12-week follow-up, Rosemarie showed measurable improvement in skin firmness and a visible softening of her forehead lines that she and I both found surprising in its degree. She told me with considerable emotion that she felt like herself again when she looked in the mirror.